Right now, as you sit here, your skin is leaking fluid. It is happening constantly, across almost every inch of your body, even when it is entirely imperceptible to you. We usually only notice this function at its extremes. We feel the heavy, dripping exhaustion of a 5-mile run, or the sudden, freezing clamminess in our palms right before we step up to a microphone. We spend billions of dollars trying to manage these responses. We swipe on antiperspirants, panic over the slightest hint of body odor, and sit in expensive saunas trying to sweat out toxins. But treating all of that moisture like it is the exact same fluid is a biological mistake. Your body actually runs two entirely separate sweating systems, and they are wired to completely different parts of your nervous system.
If we want to understand why our hands get clammy, where body odor actually comes from, or why the detox myth is physically impossible, we have to look under the hood at how these two distinct engines operate. The first engine is built strictly for temperature control. When your hypothalamus, your brain's internal thermostat, detects that your core body temperature is rising, it sounds the alarm. That alarm activates your eccrine glands. Millions are embedded across your skin, functioning as a high-density liquid cooling network. The fluid they push to the surface is simple: 99% water, mixed with trace electrolytes like sodium and chloride. As that water hits the ambient air and evaporates, it physically pulls thermal energy away from your skin. That specific phase change, from liquid to gas, is what actively cools your blood and keeps your internal organs from failing. This pie chart breaks down the exact chemical composition of eccrine sweat. As you can see, the vast majority is simply water. The trace minerals and metabolic waste make up a microscopic sliver, less than a fraction of a percent. Your liver and kidneys are your body's heavy-duty filtration plants, not your pores. Sweating heavily in a sauna isn't purifying your blood. It is just your eccrine glands desperately dumping salt water onto your skin to keep you from overheating. But what about the cold sweat that hits your forehead during a stressful meeting? That response bypasses the thermostat entirely. It is triggered by the sympathetic nervous system during moments of anxiety or a sudden release of adrenaline. This brings us to the second system, the apocrine glands. Concentrated in hair-dense areas like the armpits, they empty their contents directly into hair follicles. The fluid produced is thick, sticky, and loaded with proteins, lipids, and steroids. Here is the biological paradox. Whether it is the watery eccrine fluid or the milky apocrine fluid, when it first emerges, it has absolutely zero smell. The smell comes from the microbiome. You have a massive, invisible ecosystem of naturally occurring bacteria living on your skin. They ignore the salt water from your eccrine glands, but that thick, lipid-rich fluid from your apocrine glands, to them, that is an all-you-can-eat buffet. As these microscopic organisms feast on those proteins and lipids, they excrete metabolic waste in the form of volatile fatty acids. Those acids are the exact chemical compounds your nose registers as body odor. Stress sweat doesn't smell on its own. It just provides a nutrient-dense feast for the bacterial ecosystem already colonizing your surface. Because these glands are strictly controlled by your nervous system, a glitch in the neurological wiring causes immediate physical effects. If the cholinergic receptors within this signaling pathway become overstimulated, the result is a medical condition known as hyperhidrosis. The brain's negative feedback loop essentially breaks down. It commands the eccrine glands to secrete fluid constantly and excessively, completely independent of how hot the environment is or how stressed the person might feel. It is a systemic misfire that reveals exactly how heavily our daily physical comfort relies on the precise, invisible calibration of our nervous system. This biology dictates the products in your bathroom cabinet. Deodorants deploy antimicrobials to kill the odor-causing bacteria feeding on your apocrine fluid. Antiperspirants use aluminum salts to create a rigid physical plug inside the sweat duct itself, mechanically blocking the fluid from ever reaching the surface. We spend immense effort trying to suppress this biology, but human perspiration is a profound evolutionary advantage. It gave our ancestors the endurance to track down prey across scorching savannas without collapsing from heat stroke. It is a dual-engine architecture, one system engineered strictly to prevent a fatal thermal meltdown, and a secondary engine that reacts instantly to primal neurological threats. Perspiration is a highly engineered survival mechanism, one that protects our internal core temperature while quietly feeding the microscopic ecosystem living right on our skin.